This is how to crush the unprepared using the Danish Gambit. We start with the usual center pawn push, black mirrors, and now we offer the pawn with d4. When black captures, we throw in c3, a second pawn offered to speed up development. Black grabs again and boom, we develop our light-squared bishop to c4, eyeing down the king side. Black goes for a third pawn, and we grab it with our dark-squared bishop. Now we have two powerful bishops aimed straight at the enemy king. After d6, we throw out the queen to b3, instantly pressuring the f7 square and baiting black into defending passively with queen to e7. We develop the knight. Black plays pawn to c6, and then castle long, ready to go all in. Black tries to build a wall with a queenside pawn to b5, but now we strike with the knight, grabbing the pawn and opening the b-file. Black recaptures with the pawn and our light square bishop steps in, pinning and probing. Black defends with bishop to d7. Now our knight joins the party. After black develops their knight to c6, we shove a central pawn, forcing open the middle. Black captures on e5. Now the key, we sacrifice the rook on the d-file to blast open lines. Black is forced to recapture, and we jump in with the knight to the e5 square, central, active, and threatening. Black tries to hold on with a queen move, but we take on the queen side, dragging the king into the open. We bring our rook to the game with a check, and now it's forced mate. In this game, black played king to c7. Now comes the final shot. The queen slides to b7, perfectly supported by the bishop, and it's checkmate. You just destroyed black in under 20 moves. Here is a game played between two 1800 rated players. White begins with the Danish Gambit, offering the center pawn to open lines. Black accepts both pawns, and white develops the light-squared bishop to a powerful diagonal, aiming right at the f7 square. Black grabs the second pawn, but white recaptures with the bishop, keeping up pressure and rapid development. White now brings the queen to target the kingside and apply more pressure. Black develops the knight to f6, possibly aiming to castle kingside, and white continues with more development. The second bishop joins in, controlling more central space and eyeing the king. Black plays d6 to challenge the center, while white castles to safety. Black plays b6, preparing to develop their bishop, and white places the bishop on a strong central post, putting more pressure. The queen slides to c4, lining up on the same diagonal as the king and rook. Black responds with rook to b8, clearly preparing a queenside expansion or defense. White activates a rook, bringing it to the open file. Black develops the knight, but white decides to exchange, simplifying the position and opening more lines. The bishop drops back to e6, keeping the pressure high. Black's queen slides over to defend, and white brings the knight toward the action, aiming for key squares. Black plays a pawn move to expand, but white pushes the kingside pawn to h3, preparing to prevent any knight hops. The knight comes into the game, and white plays h4, gaining more kingside space. Black brings the other knight to support the center, and white now shifts the bishop to challenge black's central control. The bishops are traded off, and white recaptures with the pawn, opening more lines. Now white pushes the f-pawn, preparing to open up the f-file. Black fianchettos the bishop, and white strikes back in the center by capturing. Bishops are traded, and white then takes with the queen, eyeing the 7th rank. The knight jumps in to defend, and white doubles down with a rook lift. The pressure on black's king is mounting. The exchange sacrifice comes in, the rook takes on e5, and after the queen recaptures, white trades queens and regains the initiative. The king is now exposed. White plays queen to f4, forcing the king into even more vulnerable territory. White now brings the rook to the open file, then switches the rook to the 7th rank to attack. The queen offers a trade, and white accepts. Then with a stunning rook move, white grabs the open c-file. White captures a central pawn with check, and after the king steps away, black plays one final rook move. But here, facing massive material loss and an open king, black resigns. Textbook Danish Gambit, sharp, fast, and deadly. You control the game from move 1 and your opponent gets no time to breathe. Try this in your next blitz match and watch them crumble. Like and sub if you love crushing with tactics.